Hey everyone, this is Nathan with an update on an upcoming pattern change for probably next weekend. So first thing, let's take a look at the Climate Prediction Center outlook. And you can see currently for the next week or 10 days or so up until Thanksgiving, it's going to be pretty warm across the central and eastern parts of the country. But you can see there's some cold building in towards the west. And as we move towards the 8 to 14 day outlook, you can see that cold starts to move into the country. And then weeks 3 and 4, it's more of a La Nina pattern where you have the cold up towards the northern parts of the country. So let's take a look at some of the forecast models. Before I look at the actual temperature forecasts, let's look at the GFS precipitation outlook. So this is for today, November 18th. And as you can see for the next several days, the 19th, 20th, etc., up until Thanksgiving, it's going to be relatively warm, right? So this is the day before Thanksgiving. You can see that cold air is moving into the west. The east is still quite warm, probably in the 40s and warmer, so above freezing, with some rain, predominantly the precipitation type. But as we move into Thanksgiving, notice this trough move into the area. So this is very early Thanksgiving, some cold air moving into Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and even down into the panhandle of Texas. So it is definitely starting to build in at this point. This is about the expected time of the trough around Thanksgiving, and as we move into Black Friday, you can see that cold air continues to expand. Quite a bit of cold air right over International Falls, especially all the way down to the Gulf Coast. And then you can see some snow developing. So this is way too far away for specifics, but there's the potential for good system snow. And this actually has it farther south, so south of Michigan here. But some good system snow, low pressure system, probably moving towards the northeast. And as this happens, you can see it starts to deepen. So here it's 1006 millibars, and as it moves to the north, it drops down to 990. So it's intensifying. This has lots of New England in the rain at this point, but you can see the snow wrapping around the backside of it and that lake effect starting again with another north to south band. So again, if you remember last week or a week before, there was that north to south lake effect snow band hitting Chicago and areas just towards the east, and this could be a similar setup, at least initially. As it wraps around, again, you can see that lake effect snow um, across all the Great Lakes and that system snow around the low pressure system continuing to deepen, 981 millibars. Again, lots of New England is still in the rain at this point, but that cold air really moves southward. And as we continue this, it whiplashes across all of New England at this point. Light snow, this is November 30th, so this is the Sunday after Thanksgiving. Mostly light snow, probably some more lake effect, not really being picked up on the model, but I'd imagine some lake effect with this cold air. And you can see the entire northern half of the country is cold at this point, which does correlate with our 3 to 4 week prediction outlook, November 29th to December 12th. So this is, November 30th, right in that time frame. Now, as this continues, just take a notice here. Some of that warm air tries to build. So this is December 1st. There could be a little brief bit of warm air moving into the east with that cold air still in the central part of the country. So you got that storm track right here across Michigan, Ohio, and then down to the south and towards the west. And again, you'll notice when I show the other models, this is a similar trend. It's trying to build up a little bit of cold air around December 1st and 2nd. But if we continue this, it doesn't stay around for long. You can see that cold air moves right back in, and boom, we're back to cold on December 4th. With more lake effect system snow, another nor'easter potentially. Looks like Maine could get snow, way too far away for specifics. But the basic trend here, if you're noticing, is up until Thanksgiving, just warm air across the east. Around Thanksgiving, that trough moves in, potential system snow, deepening low pressure, lake effect, north to south bands. As we move to very end of November, the cold is across the entire north part of the country. Then we have a little bit of warm air building along New England, that cold air intensifying across the central part of the country, which creates this area of precipitation along the boundary. The trough then moves through, and by December 3rd and 4th, that cold air moves back into New England with another nor'easter potentially and more lake effect snow. So that's kind of the basic trend. Let's look at some models here. So I'm just going to hop around. Let's do the GEFS. So this is Friday, November 28th, and you can see there's plenty of cold air across the Great Lakes and Northeast at this point. If we back up a bit, you can see again that cold air moves in around Thanksgiving across the central part of the country and the Great Lakes, and it moves east across Black Friday and the day after. Let's do another model here. So here's a GFS temperatures. So this is Thanksgiving right here. So notice that cold air builds in throughout Thanksgiving, moving into Michigan. Black Friday, that cold air really intensifies, moves towards New England over the weekend. And then as we move towards December 1st, that warm air tries to build across New England. This has it a bit farther to the east, but again, warm air here, cold air here, some precipitation along the boundary. That warm air is very short-lived, just a day or two, and then that cold air moves back in across the Great Lakes and Northeast as we move into early December, December 3rd and 4th. So that's the GFS. So the basic trend here is up until Thanksgiving, expect relatively warm conditions, and then on Thanksgiving, expect a trough to move through the central part of the country into the Great Lakes, into the Northeast. So the end of November is chilly, cold, lake effect, system snows. And then December 1st and 2nd, we get that little bit of warm air across New England, intensifying cold air across the Great Lakes. So we have some more precipitation. And then by the 3rd and 4th of December, the cold air dominates the entire region again. So that's the forecast for temperatures and snow. Way too early for specifics on the amounts of snow, but check back in for more updates in the future. Thanks.